Hello, everybody. Scott here with another episode of Cowboy Counselor. And I am here today to talk about cooking. Cooking with whole foods, a little bit of nutrition. Make no mistake about it, I am not a nutritionalist, but I did discover several years ago that I have high blood sugar. I'm not type 2 diabetic, but at that time I was definitely pre diabetic and working my way quickly in the direction of type 2 diabetes. I started taking my morning glucose and it was kind of scary. It radically changed the way I look at food, the way I look at how I eat, when I eat, what I snack on, and definitely taken me down the trail of cooking and eating with whole foods. I have a lot of help from my wife in that area. She researches this stuff nonstop, and we talk about this quite a bit. So today I'm going to demonstrate a really simple omelet. And the good news and the bad news for all of us is if you don't cook with whole foods right now, you need to learn. Even if you don't know how to cook, if you don't like cooking, if you're not good at it, because of the cost of food in our grocery stores, we know that processed food has a lot of things in it that aren't good for us, a lot of hidden sugars. So I want to know what I'm eating and I can do that the best when I'm the one that prepared it. We rarely eat out. We went from a couple that we definitely looked forward to eating out. We did that maybe more than once a week. We spent a lot of money doing that to the point where I don't even like it anymore. My only reason for eating out is if we have friends or family that want to go out and want to visit with us, then we will go out and eat, but we have to choose very carefully what we're ordering. So for today, I'm going to start right out with just demonstrating how to make a simple omelet. I think the only real processed food I'm going to be using is some of the shredded cheese that I'm going to throw on there. And that would have come from Costco. I don't seem to have much of an issue with cheese, so I'm okay with that. I'm not an all or nothing type person. I'm more of a balance. So let's go directly into this. The eggs that I'm going to be using today, I know that eggs are expensive right now. These actually came from my daughter's place. They have chickens, ducks, guineas, and I buy eggs off of her, or we trade out eggs. So I believe these are duck eggs, these bigger ones. They taste awesome to me. I don't see any difference, really. I think flavor-wise, they're very good. So I'm going to crack at least a couple of these into a bowl. Go right to the edge of the bowl. Get a pretty good wrap on there, and just drop it in there. Let's grab one of what I presume is one of the chicken eggs. I think these brown ones are definitely chickens. Okay. Let's go with another duck egg. Those are fun. Huge, too. Normally, I would make a 4-egg omelet, but with the size of these duck eggs, I think I'm just going to go 3. Okay. Before I start mixing those eggs up, I'm going to go ahead and start preheating my pan now. This is just, I think it's a copper-coated skillet, but it's my favorite. It seems to have some of the best no-stick properties. For an omelet, I'm going to turn my stove on to probably about halfway, like a 5. Just let that start heating. For an oil, I'm going to use avocado oil. I like avocado because it has, I think it's a high flash point, so it does better when you heat it without breaking down. I don't use seed oils anymore at all. And that's not just because of the current hype. I figured out a long time ago that seed oils upset my stomach. They give me a lot of IBS type symptoms. And when I quit using those, a lot of my symptoms went away. So I think that was one of the things that contributed. So avocado oil. I also use a lot of virgin olive oil. We use coconut oil. Okay, now for a seasoning, this is actually garlic salt. For whatever reason, a long time ago, I started salting the oil as it heats. I guess I feel like it brings the flavor out a little bit more. That might have something to do with having used garlic cloves in the past as well. So that can be heating. As you're heating oil, remember, don't forget about it. If you have kids around, you don't want them to come up and grab a pan and grab something hot onto themselves. So be mindful about what you're doing. Okay, back to the eggs. I'm just going to use a fork. I'm going to whip these up. Doesn't have to be super whipped up, just enough that it's kind of all one yellow color. All right. This is red onion that I've pre-prepared, and I showed that in a previous video on knife sharpening and how to cut up an onion using that ulu knife that I'd made a couple of videos ago. So this onion has already been chopped up. It's ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and push this into my oil and the garlic that I already have in there, because I definitely want the onion cooked a little bit before I throw the eggs in on top of it. It'll help bring out the flavor. So I'm just going to scoop that all right in there. There we go. Kind of stir those around, even them out a little bit, and those can start cooking. Okay, going to stir my onions around a little bit. Once again, what we have in there so far is avocado oil, a little bit of garlic salt, and you may not need any more seasoning than just that. And we're kind of looking for those onions maybe to soften up a little bit, not necessarily brown. I guess it depends on how you like them. I find red onion to have a really good, sweet, strong flavor to it. I would have used white onion if that's all I had to. That's fine. You could also throw in some bacon bits, little bits of sausage, anything that you wanted to at this point. I don't have any sausage setting out right now. We had a lot of venison sausage that I made, and I think that's all gone. So I need to make some more of that. That will probably be a whole nother video. So that onion it's sizzling along pretty nicely. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and throw in a little tab of butter. That's strictly for flavor for me. I have nothing against butter. Health-wise, I don't feel like it impacts my blood sugar. I've gotten more back into cooking with animal fats. I guess we'll see how that plays out over the long haul. That butter is going to combine nicely with that garlic salt. And just about anything cooked in butter and garlic together is going to be pretty darn good. Yeah, I feel like my onions are softened up enough to the point that's probably about 3 or 4 minutes of cooking at a 6 on my stove. I'm going to go ahead and pour my eggs in. So here's our eggs that we whipped up. I'm just going to kind of circle them around the pan a little bit. Get all the little dribblings off there. And I'm going to kind of encourage those around together so it's kind of even. Okay. And I'm just going to let that cook. I would imagine that's going to elapse to about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, we can start to see now that those eggs are kind of bubbling up. I'm going to kick down my heat just a little bit because I don't want to scorch them. And now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add some black pepper because I really like black pepper. And for me, I tend to heavily season stuff because I like flavor. And in the words of one of my coworkers who does a lot of great traditional Hispanic cooking, you need to let your ancestors tell you how much to put on. I would agree with that concept. I'm going to add my cheese now. I love cheese. I'm guessing, to me, it's about a fistful. This is probably going to work out. I'm going to say that's probably about 3/4 of a cup of cheese. I'm going to sprinkle that on evenly. And that's quite a bit of cheese, actually. Now, we're at a point where I think that's cooked enough that we can go ahead and fold it. I've contained my edges a little bit with my spatula. I'm going to try to get under the whole thing at once and just go ahead and fold that over. There we go. If nothing else, that's a very pretty omelet. I'll give it that. Okay, we're going to let that cook for another minute at a lower heat. So I'm down to about a 4 now. Okay, probably about a minute has elapsed. If you want to know if your omelet is done, just go ahead and cook it right down the center. And if nothing runny comes out, it's probably about ready. I don't know why I do this, but I like to flip my halves one more time. I guess I just feel like it cooks more evenly. Okay. That is pretty much our completed omelet. I'm going to shut the heat off and just let that sit in the pan. Okay, here we are. Good presentation. I am going to go sit down and eat this. All right, I'm going to sit down and eat this in front of my wood burning stove because it's literally 5 degrees below zero out in Colorado this morning. We heat a lot off of wood, incidentally. And let's try a bite of this. Very good. All right. Okay, sorry I had to pause for a minute just to chew that up and swallow it. So once again, our omelet. And I know from experience that this will not jack my blood sugar. And I'm happy to say that generally I'm within normal levels anymore. I don't even come in at a pre-diabetic stage. So just through good nutrition, wearing a glucose monitor at different times just to find out what spikes my blood sugar and what doesn't, I've managed to bring that down. But I know for a fact that this will not. So I hope this was helpful for you. Lessons of the day: cook for mindfulness, enjoy your cooking. Treat that as an enjoyable experience and a learning process instead of something that you rush through just so you can go do the next thing. I put a lot of effort into cooking, food prep, meal prep, shopping for good food, and I found I enjoy that more than what I used to enjoy going to movies, going to restaurants, screen time, whatever. But anyways, once again, if you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe and give me comments on other things you would like to see. Bon appetit.